We are on the journey to hitting $10,000 per month in this income portfolio. I have to say that this is not financial advice. Everything I'm doing in this portfolio is what I'm doing for me. I'm not recommending that you do any of this. Okay, it is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Now, I'm going to show you guys my Charles Schwab portfolio. Okay, I have crypto in other places. I'm a big crypto investor as well. I am into high growth, but also I like the income aspect too. And I think a lot of people these days are they're only income or they're only high growth. And I want to do both. I want to have a ton of high growth assets that I just don't touch for 10, 15, 20 years. But I also want some freaking cash flow. We can get stuck in this whole idea of growth only. Can we maximize upside? But you have to wait years and years to capitalize on that, because if you sell, you're paying taxes. You have to time the market correctly. And there's a bunch of reasons why I started doing more of income investing, an income investing strategy. Okay, so right now my current value of this portfolio is $91,390.49. I am down currently $14,125, 13.39%. Don't care at all, because majority of that loss is just in one position, which I'll show you what that's going to be. As you can see, my cost basis is $105,493.27. So that is what I have invested of my own money. And we're going to go into the investment income tab right here, because this is what we're going to be tracking. I'm going to try to make new videos pretty much every single day, because I DCA an amount every day, pretty much into the markets Monday through Friday. I am blessed that with my job, I get paid pretty much every single day. I do online fitness coaching. I have it set up to where I get paid every day. So every spare cent I am investing, I'm able to dollar cost average DCA a lot of money every week. Okay, so right now, this portfolio is bringing in an average of $1,400 per month right now. And my goal with this portfolio is to get that up to 10K, okay, the average. So obviously, with the things that I'm in, I'm going to go through my portfolio and show you the products I'm in. They're not set dividend payments. The distribution rate can change. So my goal is to, if I can get between $8,000 and $12,000 in monthly payments and get the average around 10K, I'm good with that. So right now, with the monthly average at $1,400, the annual income is estimated at $16,856. Okay, so I used to have this portfolio over with Fidelity, but I transferred it over to Charles Schwab just because I like how the user interface looks a lot better on Charles Schwab. I like how you can go to the investment income tab. It shows you exactly what the monthly is, what the annual is. And then I like how it sets up the positions, and it shows you the dividend rate here. Right now it says no to reinvesting. I'll go through why it's saying no. As of now, I change those often. And I just really like this user interface. So I'm using Charles Schwab right now, okay? So let's go through some of these positions. I have categorized these positions to start at the highest dividend yield and go down to the lowest. So I do have some positions here that do not pay any dividends, and it's just a couple growth things that I'm going to hold on for a while, but we'll talk about that when I get down there. So first position is NEHI, which is the NEOS Ethereum High Income ETF. A lot of the income ETFs that I have are from the NEOS company. I've done a lot of research. I really like how they do covered calls on only a portion of the fund. So you still have upside growth on your principal, and you're not going to have NAV erosion. That is a big thing with income ETFs. You don't want to pick something that's paying a high distribution but has massive NAV erosion, because that means you're going to lose your principal over time. And who the hell wants to lose their principal just to get a yield? Okay, we're not going to do that. So this is the first one, okay? And if we look at this, they're doing covered calls on Ethereum through the Ethereum ETFs. And right now the distribution yield is 33%. I have 52 shares, which is the market value right now is $1,783. Okay, I'm going to be adding to that aggressively just because I want to get that position up. Right now, it's only almost 2% of my portfolio. So I want to get that to around 5%. And then we're going to move down. This is the biggest holding because I'm a huge believer in Bitcoin. If you don't believe in Bitcoin, you don't think Bitcoin is going to compound like crazy over the next 10, 20, 30 years, then this is something you don't want to be in. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I am a huge believer in certain cryptos, specifically Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, HBAR. But Bitcoin by far is the most secure. It's being adopted by the big banks, institutions, BlackRock, Fidelity, nation states, everything. Okay, so I have extreme conviction in Bitcoin, and that is why I am massively invested in BTCI. Right now, BTCI is 57% of my portfolio. I want to work that up to 60 to 65%. I'm okay with that. And right now, the current market value is $52,323. I have 1,413 shares. The distribution yield currently is 25%. With the NEOS funds, the distribution yield can change. And what I have found with BTCI is it's going to fluctuate roughly between 25 and 35%. I'm completely happy with those gains. And I will say this before I go on to the other positions. My goal is to hit $10,000 in monthly income average. I think I can do it with the amount I'm going to be investing by possibly the end of next year because it is May 2026. So if I can do that by the end of 2027, I mean, that would be the ultimate most incredible thing ever. But I'm going to be reinvesting these dividends until like 2030. Okay, so I don't need this cash flow from these payments right now. The only reason I have these set as no on reinvest is because I want all of this to go into cash when I get the dividend payments, and then I can pick which one of these income ETFs I want to DCA into and build my positions in. So IWMI, this is another NEOS fund, and it is doing covered calls on the Russell 2000. My position right now is 2.4% in that, which is $2,000 and $2,044, 40 shares. Next, we go to MLPI, which is another NEOS fund, and it is an energy infrastructure high income fund. I just am using this as a diversification. I don't want all of my eggs in one basket. No matter how bullish I am on Bitcoin or crypto, I don't want to put all of my eggs in one basket. And then we go down to QQQI. This is another NEOS fund. It is tracking the NASDAQ and doing covered calls on the NASDAQ, which is big tech. It's currently paying a 13.27 distribution yield. I have $4,964, 5.43% of my portfolio. Okay. Next, we have IAUI, which is another NEOS fund, and it is running covered calls on gold ETF. Once again, that's another diversification tool play. I believe that gold, silver, precious metals, crypto, really all of these assets, stocks, they're going to go up over time because we're going to keep devaluing the currency through money printing. They're going to have to lower rates at some point because of the amount we're paying on our debt, the interest amount we're paying. And assets over time are going to go up, whether that's real estate, stocks, crypto, precious metals. Okay. So I just want to use gold and silver as a diversification tool. And then we've got SPYI. I only have $50 in there. I'm probably not going to add to that just because I have QQQI, which is, you know, basically the top 10 companies in the S&P 500, which is the SPYI. It's the same companies that are in the QQQI. So I'm kind of like overlapping if I keep adding to that. So I'll probably just keep adding to QQQI and not SPYI. Okay, then we have STRC. I have $14,438 in that, which is about 15% of my portfolio. And right now I'm just using STRC as a place to park my cash, and it's still growing at, right now it's 11.5%. So instead of putting that in a money market fund or short US Treasuries at 3.5%, I'm basically using Michael Saylor's strategy product to keep my principal around where it's at and getting 11.5%. So almost 3 times what I would get in a money market. If the market dips quite a bit, my plan with this amount of money is to sell some of the STRC and position it into other income products like BTCI. Okay, then we go to NIHI, which is another NEOS fund, and it is basically international. It's tracking international businesses that they can produce income through covered calls. So that's just another diversification tool. I probably won't be adding massive amounts to that just because I'm going to be betting on crypto and just the US economy in general. And that is only basically 0.5% of my portfolio. Okay, then we have FSOL. That is just basically an Solana ETF. I'm going to add just a little bit into that every week. And that is a growth play. I'm not going to touch that for 5-10 years. And then we're going to just go down here. IGF, this is a industrial ETF. XLI is an energy ETF. DTCR, it's a data center ETF. So with AI booming, obviously data centers are going to be massive. So I just want some exposure to that. That's another growth part of my portfolio. Amazon, I think it's undervalued right now. So I've just been adding a share a week. Right now I'm at 3 shares. So every week, as I feel like it's still undervalued, I'm going to add a share of that. Just with AI, they have massive connections with their delivery business, and they're just a massive company that's going to continue to compound from where they're at now. GLDM, that is just a gold ETF, so it tracks the price of gold. That is 1% of my portfolio right now. That's another growth. HBAR is a cryptocurrency. I think it's going to do really well with tokenization, cross-border payments, micro transactions, and AI. I'm going to add a little bit to that every week. MSTR, it's basically a leveraged Bitcoin position. So since I think Bitcoin is going to go up massively, if I want some exposure to where I have some leverage exposure to Bitcoin, that is my MSTR position. Silver, 1% of the portfolio is at $1,000. I'm just going to add a little bit of that over time. And then XRP. Besides Bitcoin, I think XRP is going to be massive with tokenization, all the partnerships they have with banks, their technology, cross-border payments. I could go on and on about XRP for a long time. And like I said, these are not the only crypto positions I have. I just basically wanted to diversify and have some in ETFs, but I have crypto in other places, that is in storage. Okay. So I have big crypto positions, but we're going to, on this channel, mainly talk about income ETFs and growing this portfolio to $10,000 per month. And you guys are going to watch me do it. Every time I make a purchase, I'm going to make a video, show you what I'm purchasing, what it costs. I'll update you my portfolio and show you the changes. So if the market's going down, it's going up, you're going to see it here every single time I'm buying. And my strategy is to DCA every single day. Okay, so no matter what the prices are, if we're at all-time highs, I'm still buying every single day. But my plan is to DCA and add 2 to 3 times more than I normally would if we have big corrections. So if Bitcoin drops 10, 15, 20%, in my eyes, that is a gift, because that means BTCI per share is going to be dropping. I can pick up more shares for cheaper. I have extreme conviction in all of these plays that I'm in. And I know over time, with the money printing, the interest rates dropping, asset prices are going to skyrocket. So since I have such a long outlook, I don't care what the market's doing short term. And I would honestly rather pick up a lot of these products, build these positions at cheaper prices. So right now, for example, the NASDAQ is at all-time high. I would rather it drop 10, 15% so I can put bigger amounts of cash in and DCA more when the market's down and build these freaking positions. But what's really cool is every single time I buy a stock that is income producing, I'm going to refresh it, and I'll show you guys on the investment income tab, this goes up immediately. And it's really cool to see. And over time, you guys are going to see, like, before we know it, this is going to be at $2,000 per month. And then we'll be at $2,500. And it's a slow compounding effect to where, like I said, I'm not going to be taking distributions as cash to spend it. I might take distributions as cash to have it on the side to reinvest during dips. During those corrections where the market is down, I'm going to be reinvesting. And it's really cool because you can just go back here on positions. And let's say I want to have BTCI reinvest. You hit boom, yes, update. Okay, and now it's reinvesting. And it just does it for you. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think about my portfolio, what your thoughts are, what you do like, what you don't like. And if you're someone that's wanting to build income and not focus solely on just growth, then this is a channel for you. But this is video 1, guys, of the journey to $10,000 per month income with this portfolio starting at $90,000. We are currently at $1,400 per month, and we're going to hit 10K before you freaking know it.